I recorded and released the song only to then find out it had already been recorded and released by someone else. This is the story of Look What You Made Me Do. Now in last week's video, I talked about my song, Let Me Be. I told the story about how I wasn't really feeling that inspired to write new music, and I was working with songwriters and adapting their ideas. That is commonplace in the music industry. And this was around the Sucks to Be You era, and the two songs that I adapted from another producer were Let Me Be and Look What You Made Me Do. Now with Let Me Be, I changed a lot more of the lyrics, but with Look What You Made Me Do, I thought the sound was cool. I will be honest, looking back, I'm really glad that people really enjoy Look What You Made Me Do, but those lyrics mean absolutely nothing. I think lyrically you can tell that I didn't have as much to do with it. And that's not something that I ever denied. I never said, you know, I've written these 3 songs, you know, these are all mine, they're all original works. I was never dishonest about it. I wish that I had been a little bit more upfront about it, but you don't really get a lot of artists saying, look at my new EP with 2 songs that were mostly written by other people. Anyway, I recorded Look What You Made Me Do back in either late 2015 or early 2016, and I always felt like the song had a very sort of McFly-esque kind of sound, and I think it's one of the reasons I loved it so much. The producer, Jason Perry, had worked with McFly many times in the past, and being someone that had been a huge Busted and McFly fan in the past, and I was now working with Charlie Simpson's manager, you know, I was all in. I loved that sound, even though, again, the lyrics don't really mean anything. I'm very confused by them to this day. So come release day, I think in like May 2016, the Sucks to Be You EP comes out. I remember at the time being very annoyed because iTunes marked it as a single because it only had 3 tracks. I didn't know you had to have 4 tracks for it to count as an EP, blah, blah, blah. That was the first thing that I was annoyed about, but oh god, was it gonna get a lot worse. People started listening to Look What You Made Me Do, and it was getting loads and loads of lovely feedback. But then I noticed that I was getting a couple of comments, both on my YouTube version of the song, and also on my Twitter as well. I started seeing this name pop up, Sydney, and these comments like, why did you rip off Sydney's song? This isn't your song, this is by Sydney. And I was like, what? I was very confused. I didn't do anything about it at the time because I didn't know what anyone was on about. But then one person on YouTube left a link to a YouTube video, and I clicked on it. And lo and behold, there is this video, which I will link down below, of a female artist called Sydney Ray White singing a song called Look What You Made Me Do, and it was uploaded in 2008. And if you listen to it, that's the same fucking song. I was shocked because it's one thing to take a demo from a producer and say that, you know, he's tried it with another few artists and it hasn't worked. That's also commonplace. It's one thing to trial a song with other artists, but having a version out by another artist and not being told, it's a pretty big fucking no-no. It made me look like a thief because I hadn't really told the full story about, you know, taking producers' demos and working with them. I could see how it would have come across that I was, you know, passing these off as my original songs. I remember just being absolutely fuming that this song had sat in the vault, supposedly, since at least 2008, but now it was just out there that I was singing a song that had already been released by another artist. But it wasn't a cover of their version. Is that making any sense? It was a weird morning of my life. I remember saying to my manager Tristan at the time about how angry I was. I didn't speak to Jason, the producer, about it personally. I just made the decision not to be confrontational about it. But I remember just being so upset and so embarrassed. It's kind of common courtesy to, you know, at least if you know about it, which I presume you would, if you know it has been released into the public domain by someone else, it's kind of, you know, the right thing to do to tell the artist that he's finally officially releasing this song. And then, later in the day, whilst all of this is going on, I get a text message from a West End actress who is also a content creator who is also related to someone from McFly saying, hey chick, love your new EP, I think it's awesome. It's so crazy that you've released Look What You Made Me Do. I demoed this with Jason when I was about 12 years old. There is a timeline where Carrie Hope Fletcher released that song. Unfortunately, we're in this timeline where I released it. So in that space of one day, I found out that this song that I've been so excited for people to hear for the first time had already been released publicly. by Sydney Ray White and had also been demoed by Carrie at some point. I mean, if she was like 12 or 13 when she demoed it, and she's only a couple years younger than me, I think. She a year younger than me? So that would have been like 2004, 2005. That's only just hit me. Sorry, fucking hell. So, I remember just being so shocked. I put out a statement on Twitter talking about how I was honestly unaware that this was a thing. And I explained that I had been working with producers and, you know, reworking some of their demos. But I made my statement and then I never addressed it again. I never spoke to Jason Perry about it. And I just let bygones be bygones. I just didn't make a big deal out of it. But it taught me a valuable lesson for sure. If you're going to work with a producer who says they have this idea that's been sitting around for a little while, ask them how long it's been sitting around, how many people have recorded it before, and has it been released into the public domain before? I'm glad that so many people enjoy it. Like, I've been told before that it's like, you know, a fan favourite from you guys, and I really appreciate that. It's really fun to sing live, but it's a weird story, and I have a weird relationship with that song because of it. Since that EP, I haven't gone down the route of actively looking for other people's songs. I have made sure that if I'm working with other people that they are original ideas. I think the closest that kind of experience I've had since then is on my song Villains Part 2, where the producer of that song, or one of the producers of that song, had this instrumental. And then I wrote all of the top line over it. That was all me. There were no other songwriters on it. And every other time that I worked with other producers, it has been working from scratch. For instance, Third Eye, which was a song that came out of me going into the studio with a producer and writing it from scratch. Everything else has been from my own acoustic guitar or my own Logic project, and all my own lyrics, because that was just such a bizarre experience to find myself in. Do you like Look What You Made Me Do? Do you prefer Let Me Be or Sucks to Be You? Let me know. I'm kind of reliving that era right now. Thank you so much for watching. Next week's video is going to be another story time, but not so much about music. It's a strange one, but I think you're going to like it. I got into a fight with an actress on social media and their manager told me off. It was bad. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next week, I shall catch you later.